Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk Made in Abyss. My first impression slash sort of review for this little show that's popping up for summer 2017. So first off, just the broad word to say about Made in Abyss. It is such a charming and cute show. Like, my gosh, it is just really charming. I am very much in love with it. I really enjoyed this one, guys. I think this was really fun. This is definitely one of my favorites for the season so far. It was just very, I don't know, it was very engaging. So we're going to talk just very simply. You're going to break it down, the general story structure for this episode, talk about the production value, probably going to talk about that first, and then just talk about how well this thing worked as a premise, as a first episode, as introducing the characters to the world of the Abyss. So first off, production value. Let's talk about production value. The production value is excellent. It is really good. I really don't know what else to say about the production value except just leaving it at the very least, the production value for Made in Abyss is above standard for this season. Right now, I've seen a couple of the shows for this season, and definitely Abyss is ranking up there with the aesthetic that it's going with. And great insert songs. The insert songs for the episode are just amazing. I loved it. It was awesome. I wonder if those are the opening and the endings respectively when we hear them in the episode. We hear one right at the beginning after the title screen, and we hear one towards the end when they're showing off the Abyss, and I'm just wondering if those are the opening and ending songs. Regardless, the production value and the songs are just, well, the songs in themselves are just really nice, and they go with the aesthetic of this wondrous world. And then in terms of production value, when it comes to the artwork and the animation is fluid, the animation is pretty lively. The characters are animated in such a way that they have the little like mannerisms and they do little cute things, which again goes with the kind of storybook aesthetic that Made in Abyss seems to be going with. And I really appreciate those little animation things, and just see like even the main character Rico just jumping around in excitement, and just like how nice it is to just see her walking around. It's pretty cool. I like that the animation is just working so well with the aesthetic that Made in the Abyss has. In terms of the general art, I think it's also really well done, and it's actually really clever. Like, you can spot some sequences where they are taking some shortcuts with the artwork, that they drop the fidelity of the artwork a little bit. You know, they take away the fine lines, they make the colors kind of like mix and mash a little bit more together, the boundaries of the colors kind of harder to tell, but it works really well because the aesthetic is set up to be like this kind of fantasy fairy tale land. So when you have, like, say in the first sequence with the giant monster, the Crimson Split Jaw, I believe it was called, when you have that sequence, you can see for a good period of time that the thing kind of drops in its art quality. But it works really well because the backgrounds and the monster itself don't really clash. It just kind of leads itself more to the whole aesthetic of a storybook, of a fantasy. So this is a pretty good way of making your shortcuts kind of meld in with the aesthetic you're going for. And I suppose a note on the character design. The character designs have those really round faces. And again, I'm just going to say, I'm harping on the same point. It works with the aesthetic of a fairy tale or a storybook. So I'm pretty happy all around with it. At least when it comes to the art and production value, I think it's nicely done. And even where they take those shortcuts, it still doesn't look that jarring, like say what happens in Dragon Ball Super or other kind of realistic shows. Ultimately, it gives a really sublime feeling to this production, and I really like it. It's definitely different for the compared to the other shows for this season. Now, in terms of the story progression, you know, we start off at the Abyss. We see our girl Rico doing her thing. We're just learning more about her world introductory moments. We find the robot there. His name is Reg. By the end of it, we go through the sequence. We see that she has to lose her stuff. So we get some kind of clarification that this girl is worth her stuff, because we see that she got quite a few things before an incident made her forget or made her have to abandon everything behind. We see them sneak the thing in. When we're at the orphanage, we kind of get an idea of the orphanage and like the system of this world, which is kind of weird, and I don't really know what to make of it yet. After that, Reg is up, and we finally get to see them interact, and we finally get a pretty humorous sequence with Reg kind of being self-aware of himself and figuring out, oh my god, I'm a robot. Oh my god, I have a belly button. Why? Oh my god, I have that. Why? You know, that was a very humorous sequence. And throughout the time in the orphanage, we just get more context as to Riko as a character and what she does and how she gets into trouble. And by the end of it, we leave with them. We know that Riko's a troublemaker, and we see the rest of the Abyss and the world around it, or the city that built around the Abyss, and we kind of understand by the end of the episode the culture. So progression for the episode, I think, pretty good progression. We meet all the main characters we need to meet, and we get a pretty good idea of the general system for the world of Made in Abyss. In terms of a first episode, I think it does really well. We understand the basics of this world. We understand where Reg is coming from. At least we have the basic assumption that, oh, maybe he's coming from in the lowest level of the Abyss. So overall, from start to finish, it introduces us to the world of Made in Abyss. It introduces us to the characters, and it introduces us to some of the systems of the society. I think as a first episode, it does pretty well. We find out about the characters, and we know what Riko's immediate goal is. She wants to get deeper into the Abyss. She wants to get up to the level where her mother was at. So overall, I'm pretty excited about this show. I think it's going to be one of the better ones. A few stray observations. The classroom aesthetic in the orphanage, what with the kids having to climb up to the different desks, I think that was kind of cool to see. It kind of helps with the fantasy feel. But at the same time, it's like, wow, this society of climbing into a giant hole really has these things, or the elements about that whole practice just strewn about everywhere. So that was really interesting. Other things, I feel like that orphanage is abusive, but I don't know because the kids seem to want to do it. I don't know. I thought the character Shigi was a girl, but apparently it's a guy. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, yeah, Made in Abyss, pretty awesome. I highly recommend it. If you guys are somehow watching this and not watching the actual episode, I do recommend it. I think it's worthwhile. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought down below, and till next time, hope you have a great day.